Dams are a very effective solution to generate electricity. They create large reservoirs of water, so it can be used to generate power when it is needed and to scale back when the demand isn't high. This is why, in places such as Quebec and British Columbia, where energy production depends mostly on hydroelectricity, the rates for electricity are so low compared to other places such as Ontario or New York, who mainly rely on natural gases or nuclear plants. There is a new dam being built in British Columbia called FACC100 Dam, which will be the province's 80th dam. Civil and material engineers play an important part in the fabrication, but so do lawyers, as there are legal issues that can arise in the creation of a dam.
During the construction of a dam, civil engineers are employed in ensuring the dam's structural integrity. However, when working on the foundation of the dam, they must consult geologists and environmental scientists to determine the structural properties of the land on which the dam is built. In Leggett and Caro's Handbook of Geology in Civil Engineering, the authors describe some reasons why cooperation between these fields is so important. If civil engineers were to conduct a geological survey of the construction site, the process would take a lot of time and effort on the engineer's part. On the other hand, when the survey is completed by the geologist, the results must be concise while still informing the engineers of the effects the construction can have on the earth. Mutual regard for the necessarily divergent viewpoints of the geologist and engineer will lead to finer results from all joint effort.
The participation of the materials engineer is indispensable in the different stages of the construction of dams, in particular to verify that the materials and activities correspond to the design and planning of the work. Material science are closely related to civil engineering. Material engineering studies rock and soil, supporting civil engineering systems. In the construction of dams, special care should be taken when it comes to the construction of the structures that cross the dam, for example, the spillways and intake structures, among others. Sometimes materials engineers have to work closely with professional geologists and social scientists to identify the properties of soil. This is because identifying the properties of soil is difficult, because unlike steel or concrete, the material properties of behavior of soil are difficult to predict due to its variability and limitation on investigation. So, material engineer, professional geologists, social scientists, and civil engineers have to work together to overcome these types of issues.
As previously mentioned, we will need an asset to dialogue with the different parties involved. The lawyer who is part of the project team will have to consider the many issues involved in the creation of a dam. This lawyer will also serve as a spokesperson who will have researched the laws directly related to this subject. The problems that will need to be analyzed are those related to the indigenous peoples that might be entitled to the land, and the environmental problems that can arise from the creation of a dam. Indigenous peoples' rights are part of the Canadian Constitution, which generally tend to strongly oppose the creation of dams that can destroy a part of the environment which is dear to them and their culture. In addition to this, a dam cannot simply be built anywhere and without constraints. As previously mentioned, geologists will need to be consulted to verify the terrain, but ecologists and environmentalists as well. These parties might deem that building a dam could lead to unwanted flooding in a nearby area, or judge that it will drastically affect a population of species and its whereabouts, which should be considered in the planning of the dam's position. In fact, the lawyer will recall the laws that will be necessary during the development of the project to ensure that everything is within regulations. All in all, it is clear that there are various parties who must work together in order to construct a dam, and the problems encountered require the expertise of people with specific backgrounds. Without these experts, it would be impossible to exploit the very reliable energy source of hydroelectricity.